Hey guys, I'm back at it again with another video. Boomfish TCG here, and this time we're covering my team's top 8 performance. We got a top cut. It was generally an amazing performance on my part. I had a wonderful score by the end of it, 4-2, 4-1 in rounds, so pretty high octane, but we had a pretty rough start. So I'm gonna get into it. I played for what I consider a pretty unique version of puppets for this format. Not a lot of other people were on this kind of sauce. Nature sword is or nature puppets kind of an older strategy. I valued the life gain and the cycling that you got out of it, and it really showed. Sometimes this deck can make you gain like 20 life because of Paula's. There's a really cool interaction with the Nature token where it says if it leaves the field, that includes if it goes back to the EX. So off of Paula effect, off of the Deepwood Wolf, you get both of those opportunities to trigger the cycle. Very strong. So yeah, getting right into it. Three cooks. Cook is a really strong card. Does everything that you want for the deck. The one life matters. Getting the token on the field for free is really good. So yeah, really strong. You can hit it off of Chipper Skipper, so big ups to that. Three junk spawn, two puppets. Yep, it's just as good as it was. Three Nature's Guidance. This card is even better than it is normally. This card is ridiculous because how it works is you can target the token, remove it, you draw off the Nature's Guidance, right? So you're already cycled out a card, you've gone up, and then now you get the cycle effect. So you've seen two cards, and you get to remove a card from your hand. So the discard effect for the Nature tokens, you might be like, that's okay. But because you were able to get the graveyard setup of getting like early puppet bricks out of your hand, maybe you drew Zwei a bad turn, or maybe you just had too many Heartless Battles, stuff like that. I was able to get the Liam searches going, like checking the top cards, as early as like turn, I don't even know, man, like as early as turn 4 sometimes. Like it's crazy. You are not able to do that in any other variant. So like I saw that as an option. I saw the life gain is really strong. So I picked up on the opportunity to do that, and it was ridiculous, man. So I can't complain about it. You're also able to bounce Tree, so Ghastly Treant, back to your hand, play it again, push up. It could be like a 6 mana play, and I think it's 7 mana, something like that. If it's already on the field, it costs less, of course, but that gains 6 life. If you're in a pinch, the fact that it's that flexible and you cycle cards during that as well, kind of crazy, not gonna lie. Deepwood Wolf is just another copy of Nature's Guidance. Sometimes you just need to cycle out cards, so like it's just good. Can't complain about it at all. Moving on to the 2 costs. You got the 3 Chipper Skippers. It makes the whole deck. It's way better in this than any other version that I played up until this, because like it gets you the part where Chipper Skipper felt bad in other variants is because of this deck. Chipper Skipper in other variants does not get you your win conditions. It can get you things that help you win the game, but it cannot get you them directly. This, however, when you're getting Ghastly Treant, Cook in a pinch, those cards are getting you cards. They're drawing you cards, so things directly that benefit you. Or if it's a Liam, because you're getting so much discards early game, because you have the puppets in your grave, Liam also gets you your searches, so it's actually really consistent. You're able to see, like, you're able to dig. The amount of cards you're able to dig in this deck is ridiculous compared to the other versions. It's almost addictive. So yeah, that's really good. Ghastly Treant is pretty much the whole reason to even play the deck in the first place, because you have a once per turn effect that you can use every single turn that doesn't tap it, that you just gain 3 life. If you want to be ignorant with this deck, and you want them to keep hitting you, chances are the early turns are just going to be dealing 3 damage to you. You don't care about that. Who cares about 3 damage when I can just heal it back? Or I might even be able to do more than that in a turn. Card's ridiculous. And yeah, that's pretty much the reason it's in the deck, man. Like, you're able to gain life in this, and it feels so good. There's so many other times you're playing puppets and you're coping because you took 6 damage early and you might lose the game because you got scammed. This, however, not even close. So, big fan of it. Liam, as good as it was, got even better because you're able to discard and you're able to get the tap effect to add cards early game. It's really strong. What else can I say about it? It's just really, really good. Really good. Paula at 3 because I'm not playing Sukuna and the deck's tempo has changed a little bit because instead of trying to win early, I'm actually just trying to survive the early game. Paula lets me do big combo turns, and it was one of the reasons I won one of my rounds. I think it happened twice, maybe. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Where you're just able to do like 20 damage out of nowhere, and if they are not able to keep up with that because you did like an Orcus turn or something, you could do it as early as turn 7, and they can't really deal with you. I'm gonna be honest. So there's that, and the fact that it can push back the tokens into the EX zone, and they cycle cards from doing that. It does everything for you. Like, it's crazy. Sub. My old friend's substitution. What do I have to say? It sucks, right? Sometimes it's good. It saved me one game. But it usually sucks. But you know what? This deck can cycle it. If I'm up against Amulet Haven, which I played 2, the card's useless. Guess what I get to do with it? It's in the grave now. Draw, discard. That's the beauty of this version. Other puppet variants, you draw your cards and you're stuck with them. That's what you're playing the game with for the rest of it. You're never getting rid of that sub against in like Amulet control. Like, what are you gonna do? Bounce? Like nothing of use really. Otherwise, you're just gonna give him a board clear again. So like, tough to say, but now I can just get rid of it. Trail. If you get lucky, you're happy. If you don't, whatever, man. In a pinch, you can draw you a card. I did it. Other people have done it. But obviously, I'm playing this ridiculous little engine. So if I see it, of course I'm happy. What can I say? Orcus is just as good as it was. Not much to say there. Zwei and Heartless Battle are more important in this list because, of course, that's probably some of the ways you're winning the game. Most often, but it doesn't really matter, right? Like you'll see them because of course you're drawing through your deck and it's consistent stuff like that, but because you get the choice, you get the discards, you're not gonna brick on 3 of them like 3 Zvi's like you usually do because you're just gonna get rid of them early game, or at least the ones you don't care about. You play 3 Anastasia. You don't have big burst turns, but you still have big board turns. Why is that? Because if you're in a pinch, Cook and also Ghastly Treant, if you're trying to get your numbers up for your combo, so your 5th card played, you can play Cook and purposefully not put the token on the field, put it in the EX, and that gets you your 3rd card played this turn. That's really cool. And it matters a lot. So, like, obviously you could do that with Ghastly Treant for the later turns, but for the early turns, because like sometimes Puppet gets in an awkward situation where you can't do that, but because you can, and because 2/3 is a little bit better stats than a 2/2 just regular Puppet, you're really happy with that. The only downside is sometimes that tree is going to get stuck there and your Orcus is going to feel real bad. So you just have to plan for it. That's this version especially gives you a lot of skill expression. There's a lot of planning you need to go into it, but it's not like it's too complicated because you're familiar with the rest of the deck. But the mature part gives you a lot more options, so like you have to be aware of them. Cass, this was a suggestion by my teammate Chris. He just thought that the extra because like I'm in a more control version of the deck. It matters a lot more to have like a little board clear. I think I only saw this like once or twice during the tournament, like at all. Um, so it wasn't that good, but it could have been a Spinaria and it would have had the same impact. Like I just didn't see the card. But there's some times where you're up against Sword and you just clear the whole board because you're gonna have a big hand, you're gonna have a big EX. Can't complain about that. So like if you do that, you have a 4 or 5. The stats matter. Your opponent's going to try and answer it somehow. But if they can't, you literally just swing at their face, bounce it, replay it. Like it's as good as it was before, but I literally never played it in a list before, so it was good. Yeah. 3 Noah. Uh, what's there to say? This is like the reason I won most of my games is Noah. I'm able to see it more often because I'm drawing cards. I'm able to do the Paula turns because I'm living there. First off, I'm surviving to those turns, and yeah, like it's of course it's good, right? What can I say? Um, Outside of that, the Evo deck. If you were to play this, obviously we're in Vanguard format right now. I picked two Chipper Skippers and 3 Paula Evos. You do not have to play the third Paula Evo. Uh, I just had so much room because I no longer had to play Sukuna. Like I felt so flexible that I was able to play the third Paula, because a lot of the times like you feel real guilty about using your Paula Evo early on like the green one to like add a card to your hand. So like because I'm able to discard the chippers, I wasn't too worried about not being able to resolve it again. But the third Paula potentially had the more impact, but like I have so much room in my Evo deck that I could have even picked like a second Noah Evo if you really wanted to. So it's really strong. I think this deck, this version specifically, has a decent chance going into Vanguard format. I haven't played it at all in this format, but because of the life gain, because of the card advantage, it's just a really safe list. You're probably not going to lose to getting scammed as much simply because you could just gain life like a monster. So there's that list. I went 4-2, 4-1 in rounds. Round 1, I lost against Amulet Haven. I tested against it in Ottawa thanks to my buddy Liam. This list plays a lot better into control variants because you don't care about your boards at all. So eventually they're going to have to get rid of your stuff, and you're like, okay, cool, I was using that for card advantage. Like, big whoop. You're able to do whatever you want, and because your Anastasia turns aren't as follower focused, because you're able to use the tokens in order to get it, if they board clear it, you're not losing your guys. Your board's still there. So, yeah, that's at least what I would say for that. So I lost that. I went into another Amulet Haven. It was a tough game because I didn't see a single Noah. I had all of my Paulas, I didn't see a single Noah until I drew into it, and my eyes lit up like a Christmas tree, and I was able to do a big 20 damage push on him. I had 2 Lloyds and 2 Victorias. He had a whatever the big Amulet Haven lady thing is, the 7 mana 5/5. He was able to put that on the field, and I had to play around it weird just depending on what cards he had in his hit. He had 1 mana floating, so I was kind of cooked if it was a barrage. It wasn't, so that's why I was able to win in that spot. But like I wasn't exactly like in a crisis, but I couldn't risk it being a snipe. So like what I could have done to like push more damage is swung into his Alexiel, I think that's his name, with my Noah. It's left on 2 life, and then swing into it with a Lloyd. But in that spot, I'm actually losing the game because if he snipes my Noah, my turn's done, and I look like an idiot. But I can't play around that by pushing up all of the puppets and then swinging with like a Lloyd first, because if he has barrage, I lose. So it was a weird situation, but I got it. Unfortunately, he had a little bit of a sequencing error, and we're at the event, so like you can't really take those situations back. He had a boost kicker, and the 2 mana Evo guy, when you have like 3 amulets, Evos for free. He had both of those cards. So his correct order would have been played the amulet guy, banish my big Orcus, and then like boost kicker, kill the puppets. That would have been the correct order. But I had a feeling that he probably wouldn't be able to answer a big Orcus turn cleanly. He probably would have had to take some damage. So I put this big tasty board out, and his brain just autopiloted the wrong answer. So he ended up taking 8 damage. Clearly that helped. 8 damage isn't small. But again, like I wasn't exactly in a rush to win the game, but it just panned out really good because I was both of the other games had finished at that point, and I was they were waiting on me. If we won, obviously we were going to keep playing, but like going X too early really sucks. So I was able to pull it out. We were doing fine. Round 3, I went into Angel Haven. Unfortunately for the guy, I think if he was playing into like any sword deck really, I'm pretty sure he would have been chilling. But unfortunately for him, my deck's a combo deck. So like the angel tools that we have access to right now are just really basic answers, like really basic board clears and like advantage generation engines and wards and stuff like that. It can't really deal with just the ridiculous numbers this deck can put up and the consistency that I have and the fact that I don't care about the board that I'm creating, unlike the regular puppet variant. So he just kind of got into a bad matchup and lost the game. I did 14 damage off of an Orcus turn because I think we were on like turn 9 and I went second. I had 3 puppets in my EX, so like that's 8 plus 6, 14. So yeah, it was just an unfortunate matchup for him, really. Then the next matchup, I went into Armed. I had a horrible record against Armed because I kept losing to Tristan at locals. And I think it was like 2-7 I was up against this. But since I had swapped over to the mature variant, I felt like I had a better chance. I was able to push the issue a lot earlier than him, and he just couldn't deal with it. He could have done the life gain guy with his big advanced turn, but he chose to do the big storm guy, which is the correct, in my opinion, that's the correct situation. Because he was like, if you don't have Orcus, you probably can't get rid of this, and I probably have game. I had Orcus, so I killed him. But like, I think that was a good gamble. He could have played it safer, but that's just how it is sometimes. And then so 3, yep. And then the last round, unfortunately, yeah. And then we played against a fellow that I knew. So one of the past puppet players that I met during BCS Toronto. 2 of them made it into Top Cut, but one of them we played before Top Cut. His team was on Puppets, Cool, and Sword. Unfortunately, Tristan didn't win against Cool, and Chris had played like a million Sword mirror matches, but he was up against Puppets. That was a close game. He ended up losing that one. So like my game was kind of just a flex, I guess. But I was playing against Merchant Sword, I'm pretty sure, and he did damn near everything. Like I'm talking like everything. He played 3 monochrome duels, and he threatened game on me with a triple boosted 3 knights trying to swing at my face. I had 12 life. He tried to swing with all of them, and I had my 1 sub because I kept it in hand because like I was like probably need this. Floated the 2. I did a big push. I think it was an Anastasia turn. I had done probably over 20 life gain that game, but he was still threatening lethal, and I had the sub to bounce it. He just hit me in the face, pass turn, and I was able to do what I needed. He was just severely out of cards. But kudos to him. I thought I had the game in the bag way early on. I was super comfortable in the matchup, and he just showed that like the deck's just that stupid. So But my life gain is stupider, so look at me go. So yeah, 4-1 for me in rounds, and then in Top Cut, I ended up losing to the same Amulet Haven guy that I played previously. Both times I played against that guy, I didn't see his Heartless Battles or his Vies whenever I needed them. And that game was even worse because I whiffed off a Skipper, and I ended up bottoming, I think it was uh, 2 Heartless, I think 2 Heartless, 2 Orcus, and that's good enough. I don't have ways of dealing damage or setting up, so it was brutal. And then whiffing on like anything off the Skipper is just so tough. Could have been a Paula or something, but I didn't hit. So tough 4-2. Can't be mad about my performance. Can't be mad about the deck, but that's just how it goes. Now, Chris, he has plenty to complain about his list. He didn't see Celia at all during rounds, up until Top Cut, funny enough. And he played 3 Sword Mirror matches. So let's take a look at the list. I think it's just a standard merchant deck, but I could be wrong. So similar to Jean's list, he's playing 3 Savage Swordmen. It's just a good early drop, high synergy. He's playing 3 Celia. He's playing 2 Mecha Gun, so a little bit different from Jean, but he's trying to do different stuff, so that's why. But again, it gets you the token. It lets you do the Savage Swordman stat boost play, so that's good. He's playing the 3 Arista because that's for the big merchant payoff, and then he's playing the 2 Finas. This was a personal tech from him. You of course can note that Jean wasn't playing this in his list, but Chris had been going. He competes in events by far the most out of any of us. So he has a lot of experience going to lists, even though that he's younger than the rest of us. So like, look at that go. But he saw that at the previous event that he was playing at, Fina was the tech for the event. It was for like sword mirror matches, I'm pretty sure, because it's really good in the sword mirror match. And that's probably why he came ahead in most of the sword mirror matches, because I don't think Ottawa people were kind of on this, or like the people at the Toronto event were on this. Maybe they were, I didn't watch the games. But that's why he was playing this. And of course, it went well. He went 3-2. Leod, this is good against bats, simple as. Same reasons as Jean, it's just a good card. He's playing 3 of the Queens, because of course that's part of the black and white package. He's playing the other Queen at 3, so yeah, it's just how it goes. He's playing 3 Ralmia. He doesn't have the Sword Flash Panther to abuse this card, but it's still just as good. Off of a Celia play going second, chances are you're just evoing this on turn 2 and hitting them in the face for 8. And good luck to them if that happens. He's playing 2 Floral Fencers. That's a little bit different than Jean, but considering that this deck can't get the early advantage that Jean's deck needs, sometimes it just needs the stupid, I'm putting things on the field. That's it. And yeah, it pays off, but it's still like it's an old card, so it's not doing anything fancy. It's just filling a role. He's playing the Izumine on Discord, so this is a 3 mana 3/3. It taps to burn something for 3, and if you have another merchant on the field, it does 5. So that's really dumb because it's free, right? It doesn't cost any mana or card. You don't have to discard anything, but it has a condition at least. But it's part of the payoff of the deck, so of course it's going to be good. I didn't really read over Aresta's the 1-drops effect, but it's a 1 mana 1/1. If there's another merchant on the field, not named itself, it pings the opponent in the face for 2, so that's really strong. And then it also has an entry effect of giving something +1 attack and assail, so that's also really good. He's also playing the Aether, the 1 Aether for the 4th copy of Monochrome Duel, and I'm pretty sure it searches the Aliaska, so or Alaska, as I call it. So it's for the flexibility, really. Speaking of, he plays 3 Prudent General. As good as it was in Jazz deck, but at a higher ratio. It's because he's playing the 3. It's a very good card. Obviously, it creates a lot of board presence. It's really greedy, hard to keep up with. And yeah, he's just going to keep doing token turns into you. And that's what you're going to have to answer. Not always easy. Now, the reason you play this deck, Alyaska. Okay, the reason why you play the merchant variant specifically, because we haven't had really all that many merchant cards up until now. So you play it for 5, it evos for 2. Immediately when it comes out, it summons the 3 cost. So since you have another merchant on the field, the 3 cost comes out and it's able to ping something for 5. So that's really good. Evos for 2. It becomes a 5/5, or I think it's bigger than that, but I could be wrong. I think it's a 5/5. It brings the 1-drop out, so it gives the thing a +1 in a sail. So now you have a 6/5 maybe, or something else on your field, whatever. And the other effect is it summons a 2-mana 6/6 token in your EX, so it just puts it there. That card's ridiculous. Of course, hearing a 2-mana 6/6 is ridiculous stats, but it has even better effect. When you play it, it just blows something up. And then if it dies, the opponent gets pinged for 4. So it's just a really sticky, annoying thing that you guarantee for yourself next turn. But as ridiculous as it is, 2 mana gets bounced by sub, so it's a pretty vulnerable card. Any cost-based removal, it's very vulnerable. Obviously, if you're playing against Kuon, they could just bounce it with Rhyme Wind, so it doesn't really do anything. So as ridiculous as it is, and as ridiculous as it sounds, it actually comes out pretty mid most of the time, because it doesn't draw any cards. And then of course you have Monochrome Duel. Same as yeah, it's a really stupid card. Obviously it brings out the black and white and puts a whole bunch of tokens on the field. It has the grave effect to buff your tokens for extra storm damage. So the difference here is Chris was more comfortable playing the mid-range strategy. He wanted to play the longer games, and Jean didn't. That's kind of the difference here. I think Jean was pretty disillusioned with this whole variant, but the big takeaway here is Fina. I think it did well for him in the tournament. He came in with a purpose to play it, and this is why it is important to look at like event tops and kind of base your big tourney deck lists off of what you see, because he played at a different event, didn't have a great experience, but he took away a lot of information, and that's kind of what really prepared us for this event. He took his experience and helped us like shape our minds to it. So he went 3-2, and then that was in rounds, and then of course we lost out in top 8, so technically 3-3, but 3-2 in rounds. Did well. Of course, he was really annoying that he ran into all those sword mirror matches, but like whatever. He played against Kua in round 1, lost. He played I think 2 sword mirror matches, bang bang, and then he played. I think he played player maybe. And then one of his sword matchups was a Spartacus 1-cost deck, so like whatever. So that stuff's just funny. And then the last round was puppets, so a pretty weird mix of decks. But the funniest thing is in our top cut, he actually was the only person who won. I was wrong, actually. He went 4-2 in total, because I forgot his really funny game. Even before we went into top cut rounds, he was like, I'm going to play against the Kuon guy, I'm going to try my best guys, but I don't think I'm getting this. And he ended the game in his favor in like maybe 8 minutes or something. He saw, I think he saw like triple Celia or something, and it just it's just like Kuon guy was like, yeah, nothing to explain there, but like we lost ours, so it didn't really matter. But it was at least a funny thing that happened. And then we move on to Tristan. He had a very unfortunate tournament, guys. Don't blame him. Went 1-5. He's still griping with the fact that even happened in the first place, but I don't blame him. if you go to an event and you walk out of it and you had a really bad experience like this, because it's a team event, right? You have to stick it out. Even if you're having a bad time, the rest of the team can still be winning, of course. If this was a singles event, obviously he wouldn't have stuck around this long. Maybe he would have went like X2, and if it's in early rounds in Shadowverse, there's no point in sticking it around. Or maybe X3 early, and then he just went to go eat lunch or something like that. But because we're in a team event, he has to stick it out. And as unfortunate as the record sounded and showed, he won when we needed him to. I won mine, and he won his. Chris didn't win that one. And, big ups to him. If he didn't do that, we wouldn't have been here. So as unfortunate as the record sounds, he was a real teammate. So good on him. And he went into this even saying like his headspace wasn't good. He didn't get enough sleep. And that might sound like an excuse, but like I'm used to this crap, man. I've gone to events on 4 hours of sleep before. Like I'm used to this. Even at this event, even I got like nervous. For him, he said there was misplays that were happening, and he didn't have enough rest, and those things can combine into a bad tournament experience. But what mattered is he pulled through. We got top 8, and we can only appreciate him for that. So good on him. His list, I think, in coming away from the event and thinking about it in post, I think there were changes that probably should have been put in place, because we didn't face off against any bats whatsoever. 0. He played against Nefties for anything as an Abyss deck. So these barrages that he put in naturally would have been good against the bat matchup, but literally no one played it except for the one guy who topped. So like good on him. And I played against another guy on like the Saturday who was playing bats, and like my buddy Alex, there's 3 people. Outside of that, we didn't see it at all. So like, unfortunately, it just didn't really pay off for him. It could have been a lot of like those 2 tech spots could have been something else, and maybe that would have been a life changer for him. Outside of that, you have the rest of the armed strategy. So you have the 3 armor burst. It's kind of like Nature's Guidance. You put something back in the EX and you ping something for 3. You spawn a token. It's pretty strong, but it's conditional, right? It doesn't draw you a card. So yeah, whatever. Blazing Breath, 1 mana ping spells, so really strong. It gets additional value. It was one of the main reasons why I didn't want to play the more the board heavy, like the swarmy version of Puppets, because it just loses to the amount of removal that this deck has. Not Barrage particularly, but like the Blazing Breaths and the other ping spells that they have is just really strong. They're able to answer a lot of early tempo. Draconic Armor is a card kind of that is unfortunate that you have to play it, because realistically it doesn't actually do anything for you. It doesn't draw you any cards, it doesn't create any card advantage. It simply just puts a token on the field that you need for your combos, so it's like important and it serves a purpose. And it's also a way to get an armed card in the grave, which matters for this deck. But like this card, it probably isn't going to be one of the main reason you win a game, of course. But like other decks have like 1 mana slots that have like higher impact cards. This thing's just necessary, so it's here. It's a combo deck. So like it's not as hard combo as Puppet tends to be, but they need to play cards like this, so naturally it is a combo deck. Gallant Dragonute is like probably the biggest part of this that actually makes it a combo deck and makes it feel like it on a regular basis, because like this card's ridiculous. If you have 3 armed cards in the grave, it gets an additional effect. Its first thing is when you play it, you take a look at the top 2 and grab an armed card. Okay, your deck's like 90% armed, so that's going to happen. Maybe not 90%, but it's a high percent chance. And then if you have the 3 in your grave, you get to recover a mana. Okay, that's broken. And spawn an armed token. Okay, that's broken. And there's plenty of ways to bring this out without actually have to playing it from your hand. But even if you do, like, who cares? You just refunded yourself. You're probably going to be able to cycle out more cards and add more cards and stuff like that. So it's a, it's crazy. It's a good card. You have the Hammer Dragon Newt. So this kind of gets you your early damage. It's a 2-mana 2/2. It looks at the top 4 and grabs an arm spell. So it gets you your win condition. And when you evo it, it pings them in the face for 2. And it becomes a 3/3. So, like, unless they answer that, like, that's actually a lot of damage. And if they didn't answer it when it wasn't evoed and it just stuck around, like, that's just 5 damage to the face. It's really annoying. Uninteractive damage effects is usually a good thing, especially in Dragon, because they can take advantage of it. So, yeah, not really shameful in that aspect. Then you have Draconic Smash. It's just an like a trait removal spell. So, like, it's armed, so you can grab it off the top. It pings something for 3, and it spawns the arm token. It's a quick 2, so it's really strong. Draconic Oracle or Dragon Oracle. Good stuff. It's just a ramp spell. They need this for going first. This deck actually really sucks going first, like, a lot. Because, like, you just have to wait around for your evo effects because you want everything to happen in one turn. You don't really want to play something like play your later plays that, like, evo and just let it stick around and give the opponent the opportunity to remove it, because, like, if you do, you're probably just going to lose the game straight up. So Oracle lets you play as if you're going second, and basically, so yeah, if you don't see it going first, you're probably having a rough time. But, like, you can still get wins from it, but it's not nearly as smooth. It plays Force of the Dragon Newt. It's a cycle spell, so you ping something for 3, and you draw a discard. So naturally, the cycling's really strong. And as you can see, as I've listed so far, outside of the Angelic Barrage, we have 1, 2, 3. The first armor burst, I guess, is, like, kind of conditional, but it's still removal, right? So you have 6, and so yeah, 6, 5. That's 11 removal spells. That's why it's really hard to stick things against this deck. But it still kind of loses to, like, hyper aggro. So it's not perfect because it's a combo deck, right? Like, that's just what combo decks just lose to aggro. But it doesn't. It's like it has the removal to, like, keep itself in the game. It plays a card that is being blocked by the camera right now. It's this guy right here. It's the Knuckle Dragon. So this is an older card. You play it, you get the token, and as long as there's an armed follower, like another armed follower on the field, when you evo this, it pings something on the field for 4. If not, it pings for 2. So another removal thing. We just bumped it up to 14 removal. So, like, you're probably getting a hold of the early game. It's pretty ragtag, and sometimes you're just doing it, right? Like, you're scrapping together your early game to make sure that you're getting to the point where, like, you're dealing their big damage late game. But yeah, it's just he's only playing 2 of it, so it's actually 13 removal spells outside of the barrage. So with the barrage, it's 14 or 15. So that's a decent chunk of his list. That's almost 50%. So yeah, that's really good. He's got the Swiftblade Dragon Newt, which is easily one of the best cards in the deck, probably the best card in the deck, outside of the Dual Rage. So Swiftblade comes out. If you have 3 cards in your grave, it does a ridiculous effect of, you have 3 armed cards in your grave, you burn them in the face for 3 and create a token. So, like, that's crazy. And then you evo for 1. In Haven, this would cost, like, 2 to evo or something. So, like, go Dragons. You evo it, and then you summon a 3 cost, a 2 cost or lower armed follower from the deck, and then you create another token. So you just bring out, let's say, the Gallant Dragon Newt, and you recover a play point, and you add a card off the top, and you create another token. So at this point, if you hadn't done so far, you have 3 tokens on the field, and your board's completely full. But that's kind of where you want to be in this deck. And bare minimum, before like your turn 6 or turn 7 play, if you're going first, you want to have around 3 tokens on the field. If you're really lucky and it pans out, 4 is super strong. But, you know, it just happens as it is. So, yeah, we're at there. And then we go on to the Leviathan Dragon. So, this is your combo card, but it sucks ass in its base form. In its base form, it's like really okay. You evo it, you can swing into something, it gets a sail. Naturally, it has rush because you evoed. You refresh 2 mana, and then you create a token. That's not really why you're playing this card. The reason you play this and the reason you're playing this deck is because of Dual Rage, which we're going to get onto. It's a 6 mana spell. You play it, you can search your deck for any armed card. You add it to your hand, and then you summon one from your hand. Doesn't really matter what one you summon, except most of the games, you're summoning Leviathan. So, how the combo works with this is you do that, you summon your guy, and then you evo him, you refresh 2, and you spawn the token. You swing into something, maybe, you really don't have to, but maybe there's something big that your board clear effect can't get rid of. Sure, swing into it, you're fine. Use the grave effect of this thing, where it banishes for free, and then you have to sack, I think it's 2 tokens on the field. I'll double check that, but I'm pretty sure. Yeah, 2 Draconic Weapon tokens. And you get rid of your Leviathan in order to summon your advanced card, which is a ridiculous card. So you have 2 different advanced that you play. He plays 2 of the Storm one and 2 of the Ward one. So the Storm one's the one that's going to happen the most often, where it's a 6/6 with conditional Storm. If you have 5 armed cards in your grave, it has Storm. And then it has the effect of 1 mana, you get rid of one of your Draconic Weapon tokens, give it +2/+2, and then you burn the board for 2. So usually how this goes is you do that, and then you use the effect in order to get rid of 2 tokens and burn the board for 4. This thing now becomes a 10/10, and you just swing at their face. And you have to reload after that, but they also have to answer a 10/10. And if you've gotten any extra credit in the early game and they haven't really healed, because depending on the deck, they can't really heal like that. I mean, they could be on like 6 life at this point. That's tough for anyone to deal with, let alone like your opponent. So that's really strong, and that's why you have the alternative like burn conditions. You get the chip from your early game, and hopefully when you do this big push, it could just be game at that point. But there's a good chunk of games where it doesn't end right there, and you will have to reload, and you will have to find your other your dual rage. But it's really strong, and that's why you need 3 tokens, because when you use the grave effect of this, you get rid of 2, so now you're down to 1 token. You evo the Leviathan, so now you spawn another token and you gain 2 mana. So if you went second on turn 6, because you did the evo point, you're back up to 2 mana. Use the grave effect, bring out, and so like so you play it, evo it, you have 4 tokens on the field. You banish the card from grave, get your advanced, you're down to 2. You've gone back up to 2 mana, and then you get rid of those 2, burn the board for 4, hit them for 10. That's just kind of how it goes most of the time. Moving on, you have Jerva. This is your board clear / burn condition. A lot of the times, certain decks just can't deal with a Jerva on the field, and it's really annoying. So you play it, you discard your whole hand. Sounds like a big cost, but end phase it just burns the board for 5 and you draw a card. So like, opponent can't really stop that. And then if you're feeling spicy, you evo it, and it burns their face 2 for 5. And if they can't answer the Jerva, they're taking 15 over 2 turns. Like, good luck, man. You're probably losing the game like that. And what's even better is like the little amulets that you spawn with this, like the little tokens, they buff dragon followers by one and turn them into an armed follower. That doesn't really matter, but essentially it can make your Jerva unkillable. You can turn it into a 5/7. Good luck, man. I don't know how you're getting rid of that. I've lost to it plenty of times. It's pretty much the only thing I lose to in this deck. Like, their arm stuff is, like, their big arm guy is whatever, but a 5 mana 5/5 that burns me in the face at the end of the turn, yeah, I can't really deal with that. So it's a bit of a salty card, but it's good. That's why it's in the deck. And then he decided to play 2 of the World. It's a good card. A lot of other decks are teching it. I don't think he doesn't even play the advance for it. It's literally just there for the life gain, the cycle when it's there by itself, because a lot of the times it will be. But it just, again, tries to help you against the early aggression, because that's, if we really consider what's here for against aggression and like board building, it's over half of his deck. If we were at 15 with the barrages, if you add the Jervas and the worlds into it, it's not over half. It's exactly half. It's 20 cards in his deck that are dedicated in order to clearing the board, and then his big combo also does that. So technically, that's like 23 ways of getting rid of cards on the board. So it's good. Unfortunately, 1/5 hurts as bad as it sounds. I think he went up against 2 Kuans. Or, no, so he went up against Nefties, which is kind of whatever. I guess his deck particularly struggles against that. He didn't know the matchup, naturally, so he ended up losing. Next match, we went up against, I think it was Dirt. No, he went up against Kuon. Kuon was a struggle for him. The guy just had a really good hand. I think he got like double Kuon or something, so can't really do much about that. Next game, he went into Dirt. He got rid of Alchemist 4 times, and the guy brought it back for the 5th time, and couldn't really do much about that. So again, he lost that one. So that's matchup knowledge for 1 in 2 unfortunate situations back to back. And then our 4th round was the one that he had to win, and he did. I can't remember the matchup, but he said that pretty much everything that he needed to happen went his way. So, like, kudos to him. That went well. And then our last round before Top Cut, he was in a top deck war against Cool, and unfortunately he just lost. All of his win conditions were at the bottom of the deck, and just couldn't see it. He was pretty disappointed with that loss, because, like, realistically, if his deck wasn't as fucked as it was with, like, draws and stuff like that, he should have saw it and he should have won it. But pretty much with the whole story of the event, the ones that he lost were just really unfortunate, including that one. And then in our Top Cut, we faced the same team. That was Kuon, an Amulet Haven, and the Nefties. I think he tried to be better prepared for it, but unfortunately, he just ended up not winning that one because of a weird interaction that happens with. There's like a 7 cost they play that says your opponent can't draw outside of their draw phase. So Jerva blows up the board, but because of how this game works, the draw effect happens at the same time as it checks for the card still being on the field, which the judge said that it is still on the field, so that prevents him from drawing the additional card. And who knows if it made the difference. There was things that he said, obviously, at the end of the match, being like, I probably could have done this to do it, but unfortunately that didn't happen. We had to take the L in Top Cut, but I was simply happy to be there. I think this was a wonderful showing from Ottawa. I thank you dearly for showing up and checking us out. I guess I forgot to cover the other advanced, but it's a It's a 6 mana 6/6. When it comes out, you gain like 4 life and draw a card. Um, I think. No, 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 no. You don't draw a card. When this thing comes out, you ping the board for 2, and then you gain 4 life, and then it has an effect of you get rid of a draconic token, you draw a card and play a guy from hand. So it's strong and it comes up, but yeah, it's not the mainstay of the deck. So again, thank you for tuning in. We'll keep you updated with like Vanguard and coming up on Frontier format, but yeah, hope for the best. Thanks for tuning in, and see you in the future. See you later.